I'm seeing a lot of content today around Cory Booker's 25-hour filibuster on the floor of the Senate. I've seen a lot of content from folks who are saying they were really inspired by what he did, by the fact that he was willing to try something new, and how much social media and legacy media attention his actions brought to the plight of working class Americans and the suffering that the Trump regime is inflicting upon us. The cruelty, the injustice, the undemocratic things that this administration is doing to its own people. I logged on several times during the 25 hours and listened to what Cory had to say. And I was really moved, both by the stories from his constituents about how they are being harmed by Trump, but also just his passion for democracy and for wanting to do more for the American people. And I listened to Aaron Parnas's interview with the senator right after his filibuster. I was really struck by a level of humility and honesty from Cory in that interview. He was talking about what he did, and he said it has to be part of a larger strategy, and I would dare say a larger movement. And I'm playing catch up. Democrats are playing catch up because so many people are already out there lifting their voice, going to rallies. There's something growing, and we have an urgency. He went on to talk about how there's an urgency to act. And I appreciated that he acknowledged that a lot of us have had our head in this game a lot longer and that he is playing catch up. He's just now realizing he has not done enough. And I think he said in another interview that he was really prompted to do this because his constituents were on the horn with him endlessly, being like, do something more. Even if it's something that nobody else expects or what you're not hearing from other leadership is like proper decorum, try something new, do something different and see if it has an impact. And he did. And I have been a harsh critic of Senator Booker for a number of reasons, not the least of which is his support of AIPAC and the amount of money that he takes from that. But I think it is undeniable that what he did yesterday was powerful. It was meaningful. It motivated so many people across America. It gave people a sense of hope, but it also is spurring people to action. And I do not think we can discount the way that what he did on the floor encouraged people to get out on those April 1st special elections and vote. And I've just seen so many people talking on Blue Sky and making videos on TikTok who are really grateful for what he did and are like, okay, that's the first step. Now what are you going to do next? Where are you going to take this? How are you and everybody else in Congress going to move the needle forward? What more do you have in store? How are you going to up your game? This was a great entry point. We're grateful that you did this. Where are you going next? And I do want to remind folks that Congress is not going to save us, but they need to be our allies as fellow Americans. They need to be our allies in the fight against fascism. And we need them to be loud and bold, and we need them to be courageous. As I said on Blue Sky, we need them to be rowdy and tenacious. But I just want to take a moment here and respond to some videos that keep coming across my feed of folks who are like, I'm not like other girls in their reaction to what Cory did. Because I have a little bit of a response to them. They're all saying the same thing. And so I'll just pick probably 2 or 4, depending on how long they take. I only get 10 minutes on TikTok to film, so we'll see. And then I have some thoughts.
Off all the liberals on my Instagram account. But I mean, to me, Booker, what he did represents the kind of cynicism of American politics, where he gets up there, he does something astonishing. I mean, he talked longer than any politician has ever talked in the history of politicians. I mean, that's like they're the fucking most prolific yappers of all time. So, I mean, way to go, buddy. He did it without peeing. I mean, awesome. I posed a question over there, like, what did it actually accomplish? Because I don't think it accomplished very much. I mean, I honestly think my vote in the Supreme Court race here in Wisconsin did more for the country than Cory Booker did.
Okay, so I actually follow that account. First off, not everybody who thinks you had a bad take or dislikes your perspective can be discounted as a liberal. And if you want to talk about the biggest yappers around, have you not seen white leftist men on the internet? It's actually not the American political landscape that's cynical. It's your response to what Cory Booker did. Your inability to listen to folks, especially Black Americans, who are talking about the importance of his actions. And I love that you went out and voted in Wisconsin. That's awesome. Thank you for exercising your right to vote. That's so important. But making it a false dichotomy of like, I did something more important than what Cory did. He doesn't live in Wisconsin and he couldn't vote in that election. So like, what would you have preferred that he did? What do you want to see him do? Okay, I got time for 1 or 2 more.
I am so tired, but I had to hop on because I know we are not glazing Cory Booker for doing a fake filibuster and pissing in his pants for 24 hours straight. We're not talking about this Cory Booker, right? The one who stands with the people of Israel? Or this Cory Booker who voted to ban TikTok while also sending money to Israel?
I got tagged in this creator's comments and I chose to use her video because she is the only person I have seen making this kind of clapback that is not a white dude. Babe, we know that he takes money from AIPAC. We know he voted for the TikTok ban. This is nothing like revolutionary that you are, cluing us into. You're not schooling us. We know it wasn't a real filibuster. We understand that. That was just a useful term and the best way to describe what someone who is shutting down all business on the Senate floor for more than 24 hours is doing. None of what you are saying is schooling anybody or somehow discrediting what Cory did yesterday on the Senate floor. It's really giving leftist purity fallacy. It's really giving none of the good work that you do matters because you have had bad takes or done things we don't like in the past. So therefore, we're just going to discount everything you're doing now that is having a substantive impact. Weird how the left always falls into this. This creator calls herself a socialist. Y'all will constantly make perfect be the enemy of good. You have no concept of how to implement harm reduction. You will always hamstring yourself with your puritanical self-righteous thinking. I got time for one more.
All right, guys, it's time to not be distracted by performance art. And you really need to pay attention to what's going on. We're talking about Cory Booker here. Look, yes, he made a long speech. That's wonderful. Looks like Hawk's video got removed, so I'm going to make my own video here and put this here. And I'm missing one minor detail, and I'll come with that in a moment. But it was performance art. Please do not be as gullible as Republicans in listening to people talk. There was no filibuster. What he did was not a filibuster. Because of the fact there was no voting in session. There was no vote being upheld. There was no vote that he was obstructing. There was nothing in there that he was stopping. Not a nomination, not a hearing, nothing. He wasn't obstructing anything. The man was talking just to get support because he's probably worried about re-election.
Okay, that's enough of that. Don't go give that creator hate. He's got a small account. And he did actually go at my request and watch my video that I posted yesterday about Cory. But he still came back with kind of the same responses. Again, we know it's not a real filibuster. That doesn't mean that it's purposeless. Performance art, theatrics, drama absolutely has a place in politics. I would argue it is a key component of how politics works in America, especially when folks are trying to sway public opinion. I saw a number of other folks saying, oh, what Cory did was just performative. And I appreciated how this creator said it's performance art. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And that's what we asked for. Like, we know he wasn't there to stop a bill. Do you not understand the point of what he was doing on the Senate? In fact, I want to ask you, what do you think the point of his 25-hour speech on the floor was? Because it was not that he's worried about re-election. There is no way you watched any part of that feed and came away saying that what Cory did was about trying to get re-elected. I saw a bunch of other white dudes saying that what Cory did was performative, that he takes money from AIPAC, so we shouldn't listen to him, that he voted for the TikTok ban, so we should disregard what he did yesterday. So if you made a video like that, or you left a comment on one of my videos that was like, I can't support what Cory does because he takes money from AIPAC, I would like you to listen to what I'm going to say next. And I'm going to reference an article that was in the Bulwark a few days ago by Jonathan V. Last, where he said that we are in the fight of our lives, that if we are going to win against this fascist regime and restore our democracy, there are only two sides. There is Trump and there is the opposition against Trump. There is fascism and there is democracy. There is nothing in between. And that this side over here, the side of the people, the side of democracy, the side of resistance, that must be a completely unified side with solidarity. There cannot be petty infighting. We are going to have to stand arm in arm and hold the line together with people that have had bad takes, whose politics we don't align with perfectly, who maybe we think are deeply flawed. That is the reality of the situation. This is not the time for purity fallacies. There's the fascists, and then it's going to take all of the rest of us united in order to defeat fascism. Cory Booker clearly showed he is over here on this side with us, the people, and he is willing to hold the line with us. We need everybody, every voice, even the ones whose politics we don't necessarily like. America allied with the Soviet Union to defeat the Nazis. Take that into consideration when you're letting perfect be the enemy of good. I know we love our infighting, but this is not the fucking time, y'all. It's solidarity. We have a unified goal here.